So in this session, we're going to discuss about bug reporting. Okay, so what is the defect life cycle, and so who start raising the defect, and where it will go, and what are the stages, and each stage, what are the participants are there, and what is the responsible of each participant at each stage that we are going to discuss about. Okay, let's say you define the test cases, and once the test cases are defined, you will go for the test execution. Okay, so during the test execution, it is obvious that you will be getting some defects. Okay, so when do you say it is a defect? When the expected output, okay, and the actual output are varies, you can say it is a defect. Let's say when you given username and password, a valid username and password, and you say submit, okay, and the web application, and the application is not allowing you to log in, not allowing you to log in. So in that case, we can say it's a defect. Okay, so that defect we have to report to the developer. Okay, and once we report, how where and all it will go, the defect where and all it will go, and so what happens we are going to see now. Okay, so a tester will raise the defect, and once a tester raises the defect, it will be assigned to a developer. Okay, for example, a tester creates a defect, and once he creates a defect, it will be assigned to a developer, once it is assigned to a developer, so he can fix the defect. Okay, and he can reject the defect. Okay, saying, so this particular defect is invalid. Okay, so I'm not going to fix it. Okay, he can do two things. He can either fix it, or he can either reject it. Okay, let's assume he fixed the defect. We fix the defect. Once he fixed the defect, okay, just a second. Mm, So it will go for a review. Okay, so once a tester raises the defect, and that will be assigned to a developer. Once the developer has fixed the defect, it will go for a review. Once, so it will go for a review to a dev lead. Okay, so the dev lead has to make sure whether this particular defect fix which is done by the developer is proper or not. Okay, So if the code fix which is done by the developer is correct, okay, he'll say that so the review is fine, go for the verification. Okay, so that we can say it will go for the regression. Okay, it will go for the regression testing and to the tester. Now tester will verify the defect fix which is done by the developer, and if the defect fix is working fine, okay, so he really fixed the defect and no more the defect exists in the system. And once he ensured, okay, once the tester ensured, okay, he will, so before he ensure, what he does is he will write some steps actually. Okay, so he will write set of test cases, set of test cases to ensure cases for the defect and execute them to ensure no defect exists. Okay, and he also automate the defect. Okay, so he also automate these test cases. He also automate these test cases which are written for verifying the defect and make sure that this defect will not be there forever. So as he automated, these test cases will be keep on executed, okay, and ensure there won't be any defect even after future test cases. Now, once he done all this stuff, he will send it to the test review. Okay, so who will be doing this review? This review will be done by, however, the developer fix will be done by the dev lead. At the same time, this test review will be done by the test lead. Okay, so the test lead ensures that, okay, so the tester has written the sufficient test cases in order to verify the defect fix, and he also go through your automation code which is written by you and make sure the automation code is perfect. Okay, so once he ensured all these things, okay, he will close the defect. This particular defect will be now closed. Okay, perfect. Now, till now, what we have seen on the positive side. Okay, so the tester, raise the defect and it will be assigned to the developer. The developer fix the defect. It will go for the review to the dev lead, and the dev lead will review the code, and everything is fine. He will send to the tester. Tester verifies and send for the test review, and test lead, if everything is fine, so he will close the defect. So all these are on positive side. Okay, let's discuss and what happens if the fix is not correct. what happens if the tester is not done the proper test cases to verify the defect. Okay, so we'll see on the negative side. And before doing that, let's define some roles of each participant. Okay, so what is the role of developer? So once a defect is assigned to the developer, what he will be doing, what is his roles? Okay, can somebody tell me? Swati, sorry, Swapna, Sonia, Sunny, Raj, Mohib. Can somebody give me the things? Raj, can you give me what is the role of developer?
I don't know.
Yeah, let's say once a defect is assigned to the developer, so what he will be do now?
He fixed the defect.
He will verify the bug and
Okay, then
send it back to the review team again.
so he will verify or he will fix it?
Fix it.
I mean, he will fix it and he will send it back.
Yeah. Okay, so he'll go through the defect. Am I right? Okay, he has to understand the defect. Okay, he he read the defect, something like this. Okay, and he reproduces the defect. He reproduce the defect is nothing but reproducing the defect is nothing but, okay, he will simulate the defect in his system. Okay, so the tester has said, once you know open the browser and once you open the URL of Facebook, and when you enter username and password and click on submit button, okay, so even though I gave valid details, it is not allowing me to log in. Okay, so he will verify it once again. Okay, whether is this defect really exist. Okay, let me see it. Okay, he will verify the defect in his system, in his environment. Okay, once it is reproduced, once the defect he can able to see in his system, then he will start fix it. Okay, once it is fixed, he will send it for the review to the dev lead. Now, can somebody tell me again, what are the dev lead will be ensured here in the review? What is the responsibilities of dev lead in the review part? Can somebody tell me? Swapna, can you tell me?
He will review the
Okay,
defect which is fixed and he
okay, he'll review the code fix which is done by the developer. Okay, that's perfect. Next, anything else as part of review he has to ensure?
he ensured that whether it is right or is there any problem with that.
Yes. Okay, so he is the code followed, you know, coding guidelines. Okay, okay, and any, you know, so all those things he will review, and you know, is different. He also different will be fixed with this code change. So any other side effects because of so this code change. Okay, he'll ensure all these things. Okay, first he will review the code. He will make sure that the developer has followed the coding guidelines. Coding guidelines is nothing but, you know, every okay, so coding guidelines is nothing but is the code is written as per the, you know, given guidelines, as per the uh, given guidelines. Okay, that's one thing. And so the most important thing is he modified some code. Will it be really fix the defect? That's what he ensured. Second thing. Okay, and the third thing is that, So he modified the code. Will this code affect any other parts of the code? Okay. So this code should not affect other parts of the code. Okay. This should not, this fix should not give another defect. Okay. So he fixed the code here, and he has to, the reviewer has to ensure that this particular code change will not create another defect. Okay. Will not modify another part of code and will not create another defect. Okay. He has to ensure. Okay, so that's what is nothing but any other side effects because of this code change. So you will ensure all those things. Once everything is done, you'll send it for the regression testing. Okay, and now anyway, tester parts we have written, responsibilities we have written. What about the test review during the test lead? Okay, so during the test review, what is the responsibilities of test lead? Yeah, can somebody tell me? Yeah, please tell me. Please go ahead. Yeah, who else? Mohib, can you tell me? Okay, yeah, you can chart me. Sonia or Sunny, yeah, can you give me some answers for what will be, what are the responsibilities of test lead during the test review?
What is the responsibility of a test lead?
Yeah, yeah.
He ensures that
Yeah, Sunny, go ahead. Sunny?
I think what you told us before.
What was the responsibilities of test lead during the test review?
His responsibility is to ensure the bug that was returned.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I forgot. I don't know.
Okay. Any other place? See, this particular stage itself we call it as test review. Okay, so here some review has to happen. So what kind of review will be happened? Okay, who's on what item the test lead will be reviewing it? Okay, Raj, you have any answers for this? Okay, yeah, that's true. Yeah, so I got some chart messages saying that he will be reviewing the defect. He will be reviewing the test cases which are written by the tester. Okay, so as a test lead, I have to ensure that my tester has written all the test cases which are required for the defect. Okay, correct, no? Review the test cases written by the tester and review the code, automation code which is written for all these test cases. Okay, so this is what happens. Okay, not all the companies will automate the defect. Okay, so if there is any chance that a company is following that, so every defect has to be automated. Okay, in this case a test lead also has to review the automation code. Okay, remember, not all the companies will be automating the defect immediately. Okay, they might automate it later. If that is not the case, at least the test lead has to review the test cases which are written by the tester. Now till now we have gone in the positive side. Let me tell when a reviewer, when a dev lead will reject the defect. When a dev lead will reject the defect.
The
Swapna, can you
defect
tell me?
Whether the defect is invalid.
No, dev lead. I'm talking about dev lead.
Uh,
If the returned bug didn't follow the code the guidelines.
One thing. Yes. Okay. One answer. Any other answer? Correct. That's correct, Sunny. When it will goes back to the developer for again fixing.
has any side effects when
Oh, yeah. That's another point. That's right. Okay. That's thanks. One thing is that okay. So as Sunny told that if the defect, if the defect fix, so to fix the defect, the developer has to change some code. If the changed code not follow the guidelines, yeah, the dev lead will reject the defect. Okay. If the dev lead finds that the modified code may affect other parts of the future, okay, in a wrong way, so again he will reject the defect, saying so you modified this code, this is not valid, so this has impact on other futures, let's modify in this way. He will give some comment, he will give some suggestions also. Okay. And it will goes back to the developer again. Okay. And developer will fix it, and again he will send it back to the review. Okay. That's one thing. Okay. Let's
Other things can be like if anything changes in the requirement.
give me a second. No, it's not about requirement, right? So we're just talking about defect. Okay. So no, requirements and all will not come into picture. Can you elaborate what you are saying? I exactly didn't got it. If you can make it
the
more.
code performance is pretty slow. The defect also slow.
Pardon, Raj.
The code performance is slow.
Yeah, I am. That's true. That's true. Okay. So there are multiple ways that a dev lead will be rejecting it. Okay. If he is not followed the coding guidelines, if the code which is fixed is affecting other piece of code in a wrong way. Okay. And so because of his change, the performance gone down. Okay. So in any other way, you'll be rejecting the defect. Okay. That's fine. Now, let's say the developer has fixed and the reviewer also done properly and it came to regression testing. Okay. Now, tell me the possibilities when a tester will reject the defect. Yes, go ahead. When a tester will reject the defect. Anybody, please go ahead and tell me.
The developer says that
Hmm.
the defect is not.
It's not fixed, right?
Yeah.
Let's say what reviewer do, he will just review it and he will just follow, just checks whether the code is followed the coding guidelines or not. Okay, he will just review whether the code is making
Okay.
actual fix or not, but he will not testing it. The reviewer, the dev lead will not testing it, he will just check the code and ensure okay, it seems like it is fixing the defect, and he will pass the defect to tester. But the actual tester will reproduce the defect in an environment and ensures that this is not reproducing again, this defect is not visible now. Okay, he has to ensure that. So if he still sees the defect in the system, he will reject to the whom he will reject.
Uh,
He will reject to the
tester.
developer, right? He will reject to the developer. Now tell me when a test lead will reject the review. When a test lead will reject the review. So let's say if the tester has passed the defect, it gone to the tester review. Now when a test lead will reject the review. Swapna, can you tell me when it will be rejected from the test lead?
If there any defect in the automation code done by the tester, or
Okay, one is if there is any if the automation code is not written properly by the tester, he will reject it. Any other? Let's say if the test cases written by the tester is not not sufficient, or it's not written valid one. Okay, he's not. That's not the way he has to test. The test case should be rewritten. Okay, the test cases are not correct, or the test cases are not sufficient. Okay, so then in this case, he will say if the test case are not sufficient, he will say that okay, so this defect you can also test in these kinds of other environments and make sure it is working fine, and also test in these areas. Okay, and make sure it is working fine. So he will give you some suggestions and you will reject to the tester will be reworking on the test cases while writing more test cases, and he will also ensure that all the other test cases are passing. Then he will send it for the review again. Okay, and finally it will be closed. So that is how a defect flow will be there. Now one more stage. Okay, the tester has raised the defect to the developer. Okay, and developer will feel that this is not a defect, this is the expected behavior, or so there is no requirement to fix these kind of defects. Okay, it's not a there is no requirement to fix this defect, and first of all this is not a defect. Okay, then what he does, he will invalid the defect. He will invalid the defect. Invalid. Okay. So if the developer, sorry, and it will be invalid to the whom? It will be invalid to the tester. It will go to the tester. Okay, and tester also feels or agrees. Okay, yeah, you are right. This is not a defect. By mistake, I write it. Okay, by mistake, I wrote it. And if he feels that, so the tester will close the defect. The tester will close the defect. The tester will close the defect. So if the tester doesn't feel that it's not a invalid, yes, it is a valid defect, then again he will assign to the developer. The developer will assign to the invalid state to the tester saying, oh no, it's not a defect, say invalid only. Okay, so like this it will go here and there. Okay, and finally what developer will does, okay, he will send it to a state called so there is a CC review. There is a okay. So let's say there is a review. So this is called dev review. We can say it's called defect review. Okay. Now we'll send it for. There is a review named CCB review. So that abbreviation I will let you know later. There is a review called CCB review. So just be with me another few minutes. I'm going to complete CCB review. Okay. And to the CCB review, there are multiple people will go to a meeting room. Okay. So we'll send it to the CCB review. Okay, so multiple people will go to the meeting room, like tester, the developer, and the architect, and the manager, and the test lead will go to the meeting room, and they will discuss whether it's a really defect or not. Okay, so if it is a defect, so the meeting output is whether it's a defect or not. Okay, if it is a defect, the developer will fix it, and if it is not a if it is not a defect, it will go for the invalid, and then the tester will immediately close it. Okay, got it? Yeah. So, and there are possibilities that a assigned defect can go to the suspended state. Agree? You go to the suspended state. Okay, so let's say, so this is not the time to fix the defect because the release has to go immediately. We'll take up this defect in the next version. Okay, so this is not the okay, let's say if the actual developer who has to work on this defect is ill and not available for next 1 month. Okay, let's make it suspend. Why to assign somebody who doesn't have any knowledge on this, in this module? Okay, and why to take this? Let's suspend it. Once the developer resume, once the developer comes back, he will take it back. Okay, and from the suspended state, it will again go to the assigned state when actual person came into picture or when it has taken for the fixing. Okay, so let's, I will also share this defect flow or bug reporting flow, anything we can say. Okay, I'll be sending this this one to you, and yeah, and other thing is that I'll be giving an assignment to you right away. Okay, so I didn't get time to give the assignment last time,